Greetings and welcome, fellow pilgrim. Welcome to my next podcast episode of the Pilgrim of the Path podcasts. Would like to invite you to just take a moment to arrive with me here and perhaps just taking a breath in through the nose and just sigh it out wherever you are. So just bringing your awareness into your breath, into your body. And so we are moving through a very powerful moment right now. I'm sure you can feel it. And today here in South Africa we have the autumn equinox, but we have the March Equinox globally. So this is a moment of absolute balance, light and dark. And when night and day and night meet near equal measure, not exactly the same, but it's very the closest that it can get. So, but but more than that, it's just it's a turning point, and you can see it in nature as the seasons start to change. And so today I just would like to explore this with you because it's powerful if you really go into the the spirituality around it, and the cosmology and all those different meanings and how it's celebrated across the globe. So, and it's not something to understand, but it's something we can feel together and honor it in our own way. But the important thing is about coming together. That's what it's about. So, if we pause and we reflect for a moment, you may have noticed the past few weeks you've been feeling different, right? And I would say, remember that lunar eclipse we had in February, I think it was about in the middle of February. That was already preparing us for what is happening at the moment. Um, so there, the shift has already started. The shift has started long before that, but I mean, bringing it more up to the surface was with the lunar eclipse, and then the solar eclipse, and everything just kind of like prepared us for what is happening at the moment. Why am I talking about the equinox? And to me, it just always amazes me how often we move through life unaware of this powerful and transformative energies that surround us, that is there freely available. It's something that you can just tap into and start to transform your life, you know? But that is something that I'm very passionate about, and bringing people's awareness back into their body, because to be able to tap into these powerful energies, you need to have awareness and to notice these things and consciously work with these energies that are available to us. And that is why this equinox is one of those moments. From a scientific perspective, the equinox is a precise astronomical event that occurs twice a year, around March and September, depending if the start of spring, start of autumn, depending if you're in the northern or the southern hemisphere of the earth. So when the earth experiences these rare moments of balance, that is its relationship with the sun. So the earth orbits the sun in about a 23, well, in not about, but in its 23.5 degree tilt. So that tilt is responsible for the changing seasons, because different parts of the planet receive different amounts of sunlight throughout the year, depending on the tilt. And as I've mentioned, the sun aligns directly with the Earth's equator. So the day and night become nearly equal across the globe. When astrologically, in the astrology, the March equinox also marks the sun's entry into Aries, which is the first sign of the zodiac, right? So this is why it's also referred to as the beginning of the astrological new year. And we've just had a new moon 2 days before this equinox. We had a new moon in Pisces. And Pisces is the actual last, so this is in the Vedic astrology. So it's a little bit different than the tropical, the Western astrology. But Pisces is the last sign of the zodiac, right? And Pisces is about endings, surrender, and deep inner reflection. So when it transitions into Aries, Aries is now the sign of initiation, of action, of courage, rebirth, um, getting things done. So it's a that's why it's called a new year. And so this is part of the process in the astrological world. So apart from this, the new year, the blah, the astrological new year, it's also seen as a cosmic reset because it's the ending and beginning at once. You know that balance? So this is where the equinox become more than just a date on the calendar. So it becomes a threshold, a meeting point between light and dark, the inner and the outer, rest and action, yin and yang. Um, and again, it's not something that's being forced. You can go about your life. This is just something that happens very subtle. And again, it also depends on your own awareness, um, and how powerfully you feel it. Um, so for us here in South Africa, we have autumn energy, and we had spring and summer about the outer landscape. Um, but now we are being guided into a different direction. As the winter approaches, we are now slowly we are being guided more inwards. So as the light begins to soften, the days slowly start to shorten and nature begins to release. Leaves fall, energy settles. There's that moment of turning inward. And you might feel a desire to slow down, a need to reflect more, or a pull to let go of what no longer feels aligned. So this is not resistance, this is absolutely normal. And this is wisdom. So if you in the northern hemisphere, you might now start to feel new beginnings as spring arises. So there's contrast, and that brings the balance, the night and day, into this symbolism of the equinox. Um, Perhaps you might feel a little bit more sensitive during this equinox, which is perfectly fine and normal. Listen to your body and honor your body. You may notice increased emotional awareness, sense of vulnerability, a need for stillness. You might just want to sleep all the time, which is perfectly fine. You do that. Listen to what your body needs and honor that. Um, yeah, and I also referred to this amazing new moon we've had recently. And interestingly, for me also, now I always say that the new moon is also it doesn't matter where it is, but it's the start of something new. It's the new chapter. So, and the new moon having been in Pisces. Again, that's the final phase of the zodiac cycle, ending, surrender, dissolution of old identities, emotional release, clearing of old patterns, and it kickstarts that preparation for new beginnings. So together, this creates a powerful natural rhythm, which is release, reset, rebirth. Okay. And then what I found so amazing is just not something happening astrologically or astronomy. Sorry, I can't get to that word now. But anyway, it's across all traditions and religions. Um, in the Vedic and Hindu traditions, at the moment, it's also the new Hindi New Year, and that aligns with the new moon that happened now. It's the Chaitra Navratri, which is the 9 day period of to the mother goddess Durga, which aligns with devotion, inner purification, and renewal. Um, and then looking at the Christian or the Catholic faith's tradition, they are in the moment of Lent, which is a time of fasting, reflection, and spiritual discipline, because Easter weekend is a few days away, which is another powerful and sacred time, especially for the Christian faith. And then if you go to the Islamic tradition, they've they celebrated Ramadan, and Ramadan is a time of fasting, prayer, compassion, reflection, and deep inner awareness. So, all across the globe, there's people coming together in a very sacred time. So, maybe just for a few reflection questions, you can come back to these also later if you want. But maybe as you are listening now, you can see what comes up. What comes up. So, here are the question. What feels complete in my life right now? Just think about that. What feels complete in my life right now? What am I ready to release? What am I ready to release? And what is quietly asking to emerge? As I'm saying these questions, just that last one again, and what is quietly asking to emerge? As I'm reading these questions, you know what? You actually don't really need to think about the answers to this. I'm sure as I read the question, they already popped into your head. Because subtly, you've been thinking about this all along. And there are things that came up in your imagination or your mind with those answers. So, just just a side note, just a side note. It's a lot of information, but it's not information for you to start to get anxious about or stressed. All I'm trying to do with this is to show you the way of what a powerful time we are actually living in, and just to bring your awareness into this moment. If there's nothing you can remember from this, that's fine. But if there's one thing you can take away from this podcast, is about bringing back your awareness, that inner stillness that's within you. That's so, 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 so important. And then you will find the way. If you are still within yourself, you will find that divine guidance wherever you are. And so I do want to mention with the online, as you know, I've got an online membership, and we've just completed um, about a week ago or so, we completed our 21-day gratitude journaling journey. And so with this equinox, I found it extremely um, powerful is the word, but I've felt this a while ago. I just never knew the right moment. And as this equinox came up, I was like, I'm going to do this. So this is about, it's a basically a 9-week journey where we are going to venture through the chakra system, that energetic system. So it's going to be a very deep dive. And as I mentioned, 9 weeks. So there's going to be a lot that we're going to cover in those 9 weeks. So if you feel called to explore this with us a little bit deeper, you're welcome to join us online to the Pilgrim of the Path circle. Um, this chakra journey will only be available on the 2 tiers rhythm and presence, as stillness is a self-guided platform space. With rhythm and presence, this is a weekly, I'm guiding you every week through the different layers. And then just a little bit of a FYI, just for your information, I mentioned last week that I've started my um, writing stories for children, my mindful spiritual books. So I am busy with a series. I don't know yet how many books. I'm thinking maybe 9 books. I'm not exactly sure. Because I do want to mirror the gratitude journaling journey that we've done with my members. I do want to mirror that into the children's books. And anyway, so I'm close to completing the first 2 books, only writing, no illustrations yet. Illustrations is another part which, yes, needs to be investigated. But the first 2 books are basically completed, written, and it's called Mother Earth's Gifts. I love it because in these 2 books, I basically wrote story of that is about the 5 elements, earth, water, fire, air, ether. And I brought those 5 elements in, each one with a guardian, and bringing that awareness into a child's mind, but also their senses, their 5 senses, and to feel grounded, to feel present, seeing everything that's around them, and to recognize that little quiet sparkles of gratitude in the world around them. So, yes, I'm very passionate about this because I love this to bits, and I will definitely keep you updated as I go through the journey. So, that is me. That was quite a long one. Thank you for listening and being part of this journey. So for now, just take another deep breath in and notice your body, your energy, your awareness, even the smallest shift. The equinox reminds us that balance is not something we achieve once. We do it over and over and over again. Um, and this moment just offers you a moment, a quiet moment of an invitation to realign, to release, to reassess, to reflect. And let's just start again. Let's begin again. Consciously, we take the next step with awareness and mindfulness. Thank you for sharing this space with me, and I look forward to our next little chat. Be kind to yourself and everybody around you. And may the divine light within us all guide us on our path, one step at a time. Namaste.